Hello, I'm Lynn Mazzara. I am a Mastrius member, a navigator for Mastrius groups, and a self-taught mixed media artist. I've been painting for about 10 years, and I am really happy to be navigating for Kristen today. Sorry, I have a blurb to read, so that's what the is about. Today, Kristen is going to be talking about how to boost your online presence in under 1 hour. This interactive talk and demo will help artists make quick and easy tweaks to their websites and social media pages to help more easily and effectively reach their online and offline art and business goals. And for those still building an online presence, there'll be lots of aha moments to get the online creative juices flowing. Now, this session is going to be interactive and casual. So that means that Kristen welcomes your comments and your questions while she's giving her presentation. And also just wanted to remind you that this session is going to be recorded or is being recorded and will be going up on the Mastrius YouTube channel a few days after this so that you can go back and watch it as many times as you like. Now, a little bit about Kristen. Kristen Palana is an American Portuguese multidisciplinary artist based in Malawi. After decades as a digital artist, she has reconnected with her fine art roots by embracing mixed media drawing and painting. Kristen's animated films have screened in over 75 international film festivals, earning numerous Best Animated Short Film Awards, including at the Cannes Short Film Festival, the Italy International Film Festival, and the Sunscreen Film Festival. As an educator, she's taught at universities on 4 continents, including at the American University of Rome, where she co-founded the Film and Digital Media program. She's worked as a designer and an educator for organizations such as the World Health Organization, UNICEF, the World Food Program, the United Nations Population Fund, Germany Agency for International Cooperation, and the United Nations Development Program. And she's created multimedia programs for students from all walks of life. From 2016 to 2019, she taught for universities and NGOs in Myanmar. Kristen is currently helping creatives in Malawi and worldwide to find solutions to their most pressing art, design, business, and tech problems through masterclasses for UN organizations, live and online mentoring, and consulting. We are so excited to hear from you today, and you are one busy artist, Kristen.
Thankfully, not all of that happened at the same time, but thank you so much, Lynn, for your wonderful introduction, and for basically, we were joking, she's the wing woman of this presentation in that she's facilitating this talk and managing the comments and everything else that will happen. So thank you so much for that. Am I okay to share my screen?
Absolutely.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Let me just, I'm just gonna, let me just do the whole desktop. There we go. Can you see my very messy desktop?
Yes, we can.
I haven't figured out a smooth way to share my desktop without all the mess showing up. I'm sure there's gotta be a way, but all right. And can you see my slides?
Yes.
All right. I promise there will not be lots of PowerPoint slides. It's just to kind of, get the ball rolling. But thank you so much for coming. I am one of the weirder artists and mentors at Mastrius because I started out, as you heard in the introduction, I started out as a painter, but I became digital fairly quickly. And that was in my 20s. And part of it was a little bit of early disillusionment with the gallery scene in the 1990s when I was a student. And also it was a bit of a worry that, oh, can I really, pay the bills as a full-time artist? And so I started to kind of delve into animation, and before I knew it, I was teaching at the university level, and that was very rewarding and very fulfilling. But it wasn't since the pandemic, actually, where actually I got sick, and I did get sick. Thankfully, wasn't on my deathbed or anything, but it was enough of a preview of maybe, I mean, if I'm lucky enough to live into my 90s, but it was a bit of a preview of like, oh, I never really went for it. I never really, did the fine art thing. So that's what I've been focusing on the last 2 years. So I'm a strange mentor in that sense, in that I have loads of experience in academia and digitally, and doing all this graphic design and design work for UN organizations and animation. But as far as the fine art stuff goes, I'm kind of like, what's the expression? I'm constantly learning. So I learn as much from my students as they do from me. Today, I'm going to focus on something I've been doing for a very long time, though, which is I've been working with artists and non-artists since about 2000, with websites, but also, of course, more recently with social media. So these are some of the things that I'm going to go over with you. Please not interrupt, that's the wrong choice of words. Feel free to jump in at any time when you have a question, or you want some, you just want to ask me something. So you can just wave, gesticulate wildly, or yell, and I will be happy to stop. So some of the things we're going to go over today, I like to start, well, we did the introductions, so that's good. Check. Now we're going to work on low-hanging fruit. I'm a big fan of low-hanging fruit because even when you're a digital media expert, sometimes there's stuff right in front of you that you're not doing that you could be doing. So today, my talk is all about things you can do quickly and easily, and even by the end of this talk. You are more than welcome. I won't yell at you if your eyes wander and you open up a screen and do something that I just suggested while I'm talking. That's okay. It's low-hanging fruit, so you may as well pick away while you can, because we're artists, and it's nice to have quick wins once in a while, isn't it? Because certainly being an artist is not always low-hanging fruit. It's a slog. It's a marathon. So I'm going to focus on things that you can do with your website and your social media pages to get you more engagement, more clicks, more sales, more followers, etc. So low-hanging fruit, we're going to talk a little bit about what your audience is getting from your website, preferably in 7 seconds or less. Why 7 seconds or less? Well, how much time do you think the average person spends on any given web page?
Really? Only 7 seconds?
Yes, and incidentally, a guppy only has a 7-second attention span. So we're about the level of guppies at this point. And that number was actually higher when I began teaching when I was in my 20s. At Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York, and at William Patterson University in the art department in New Jersey, which is a half an hour away. Love William Patterson. Hi, William Patterson. Anyway, but back in the olden days of like the early 2000s, it was something like 12 seconds. So our attention spans are getting a little bit smaller. So it's very important that when people land on your website or Instagram or Facebook, that they can see who you are, what you do, why they should care, and how they can contact you. And especially if they want to buy something, can they buy it easily, or at least contact you? So those are some of the things I'll go over. I'll also talk a little bit about where your most important info goes. I started calling this website feng shui. And that is sort of the not so subtle art of placing things in just the right place, so that people are most likely to see it and take an action that you want them to take. So we'll also go over the Instagram profile optimization. I noticed that Mastrius loves Instagram. I feel like that's their platform of choice. I feel like every artist and organization has that one platform where they really just hit it out of the ballpark. And so I feel like Mastrius is all about Instagram. They also, of course, have a beautiful YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and Facebook. But yeah, well, we can talk about that as well, which platforms to focus on and which not to focus on. So we'll do an Instagram profile optimization, Facebook page optimization, easy ways to get more quality followers, not bots. We don't want any bad followers or bots or fake accounts or AI. What to focus on and what not to focus on, because there's only 24 hours in a day. We only have so much energy and so much sanity to spend regarding our web and social media. What to post and how often, and then Q&A. So let me pause for a moment. So far, so good.
Any questions or comments, anybody? And please feel free to put your microphones on and interact with us. We are very casual and very interactive today. And it doesn't look like any questions right now.
Bring on the information.
Right.
We're ready.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love, Kristen, I love that feng shui idea. That really strikes it.
Thank you. I feel like I need to sort of make some graphics to go with that. But anyway, we'll just wing it today with the feng shui. But yes, thank you so much. So not to frighten anybody, because I'm here to make your life easier, not harder. And I'm a big fan of work smarter, not harder. But before I go any further, I have to tell you, I have a dirty secret / confession to make, and that is I have 3 websites. And I don't mean to at all suggest that you need 3 websites. It's just that, gosh, I'm so happy that the expression mixed media artist and interdisciplinary artist exist, because it sounds so much better than all over the place. Because that's, if you look at my career and my portfolio, you're going to find in my portfolio animation and video and graphic design and illustrations and design work, but then there's the fine art. So I have 3 websites because I don't want to drive my audiences crazy with my glob of content. And Valerie, I know, Valerie Allen, who's a wonderful Mastrius mentor as well, and has this beautiful podcast called The Art Ladders, which I listen to, was in an earlier course with me. And we were saying that we have the opposite problem of most new artists, which is we have so much content. How do you present it all? Whereas if you're just coming out of art school, or you're just building up your resume with your first few shows, you might be wondering, oh, what do I even put on my website? So anyway, we all have problems. It's just a matter of which problem do you want to have. So for some of us, it's too much content. For some, it's what to put on my website. So very quickly, I just want to talk a little bit about the 3 websites, which I put in the first 3 positions here. So I have a main website. I literally have had the same website since the 1990s, but obviously the platforms have changed, the tools have changed, and I keep updating it and changing it. But I started out as a student, and then a grad student, and then a young artist, and then not so young artist. But basically, I have a main website, and it's very important to understand who's your audience. Who are they? What do you want them to do? So for me, my main website has audience. It's like the catch-all. So it's like, it has the about, it has my second website. I don't know if you can see my little arrow here, is the shop off of that main website. So these 3 websites actually are interconnected, but they are 3 different websites that I manage. But the main website, my main focus is have an accurate, easy to use, up-to-date online representation of myself and my work that can answer questions 24/7, easy ways to contact me. I'll show you it in a bit. I won't just talk about it. I'll show it to you. So I have a main website, and that has my design work and my teaching stuff and my UN clients and all of that good stuff. So when somebody wants me to do a master class or a training at their organization, then I send them to that main website. But I also wanted to have a website where I could sell prints of my work and originals and gifts. So that's my most recent website, which is an art storefronts website. And it's its own entity. It has its own URL and domain name, but I also
Okay,
have it
no
as the shop. Sorry. Oh, I thought there was a question. So it's its own entity. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I just think it was background noise.
Oh, okay. Anyway, the third one, and I really hesitated to make this one, but this one's the most recent addition, is as we're all artists and we have different things that we're doing. Sometimes I'm a designer and an educator. I have the shop, which is more salesy, but then I wanted to have sort of like a wing of my main website that was closed off, that would kind of shelter the audience from all the noise and all the other things I'm doing, just for grants and fellowships. So that one's just simple and clean. It has a landing page. It has my bio, my artist statement, a simplified portfolio of just my best work that I want to use for applying to that grant or fellowship. And that's basically it. So I have 3 websites. I won't talk about them any more than that. Just very quickly, I also have my social media channels. But to me, those are just tools and they all should be working together. So forget for a moment that I have 3 websites. Let's just talk about a website, because that's all you need really is one website. Your website is there to represent you when you're sleeping, hopefully, and to basically be a digital doppelganger of you while you're busy doing other things. Your social media channels are there to bring people back to your website so that it generates traffic. And when people go to your website, while they're on your website, they may see, oh, I can follow them on social media. So usually when you go to someone's website, you don't normally go to someone's website more than once in a while. But when you go on social media, which I don't know if you're like me, but I tend to go on every day for better or worse, you see what people are doing. So that's how you kind of stay abreast of what people are doing. So your social media channels are tools to get people to visit your website or maybe subscribe to your mailing list, or maybe they want to buy something, or basically you're building relationships with people. But then another way that you build relationships with people, not from your website, but from your social media channels, is to share what you're doing. So that's what we're going to talk about. And then finally, the mailing list. I won't get into that too much, but it is important because you all saw with Twitter, which is not even called Twitter anymore. I don't know, is it called X or is that just the new logo?
I
You
don't
guys
even know.
There's weird stuff going on with Twitter. And that's actually one of my social media channels where I have like 23,000 followers, which is a lot more than my Facebook and my Instagram. It's funny because I actually don't use it as much as my Facebook and Instagram, but there you go. But anyway, if it closed tomorrow, there's not much I can do about it, right? Because I don't own that. But my website I own and my mailing list I own. So I can communicate with people who've been kind enough to give me their email addresses and let them know what's going on and let them know if I'm having a sale or a show or an event, etc. So, all right, I'm gonna go away from evil PowerPoint. It's not evil, it's just sometimes PowerPoint can be a bit much. And let's, so can you, again, I hope this isn't too messy to have all these things on my desktop here.
We can see
Okay,
the
good. So,
website just fine.
hey, oh, good, thank you. So you can see, so this is my main website. It's actually, I've got, I'm logged in, so that's why you see all this stuff at the top here, but normally you wouldn't see that. A couple of things about your website that you should know. So this is the feng shui bit. Your most important information on your website should always be in the upper left-hand corner. And this comes from the olden days, actually, when browser windows would vary. So you see, as I move my window around, you see how if we're on a phone, the menu goes away, although we can still get it from here. Or if we're, if we're, hang on a minute. If we're on an iPad or some kind of tablet, it's gonna maybe look a bit like that. So you notice that no matter what you're on, your most important information should be pretty much in this first screen full here. So upper left-hand corner, very important. Another thing to consider having on your main website, and I don't know what kind of website you might have. Many people I noticed in Mastrius have the FASO website, which I think is great because it's like for artists. What are some of the other ones? I know some people have Wix. I'm going to pause for a moment. Maybe you can tell me if you have a website, what kind of website do you have?
I have a Wix website.
Okay,
I have a
great.
Shopify website.
Shopify, great.
I have a Squarespace.
Okay, Squarespace and Wix are some of the most popular websites because they're quite easy to kind of just like jump in there, and they have, templates, and you can kind of be up and running rather quickly. I think FASO and what's that, Fine Art America are similar in that they're geared for artists, and you have one that's up and running, ready to go. Mine is a WordPress website, and that probably just comes from the fact that I did a lot of web designing when I was younger, but it's really more of like a web designer's back end kind of thing where you're doing a lot of coding and things behind the scenes. But these days, you don't need to be a web designer to have a good website. So yeah, it doesn't matter if you have Wix or Squarespace. But anyway, whatever you have, it is a good idea to have some kind of, first of all, we want to know, you'd be surprised how many artists do not have their name on their website or that they're an artist. And actually, this little tagline here, Kristen Palana is an American Portuguese multidisciplinary artist based in Malawi, / all over the place, / multidisciplinary. Just having a little tagline is enough to let people know, like, oh, okay, it's an artist. And hopefully from my image here, you can see that I'm an artist as well. There's something of a detail of one of my mixed media drawings. I need to update this, but this graphic, it's always a good idea to do every 6 months or so. I have new work that I want to feature, new shows. But one thing that, even though I'm all over the place, I tried to narrow it down into 3 categories. So for me, the theme of this website is artist, professor, and consultant. Every good artist website should, a website, not website. Oh no. I have seen a few websites in my day, but not today, hopefully. An about, you should have an about section, and definitely a contact section. Where it says newsletter here, this is like a subscribe to my newsletter. I may even just change my menu item to say subscribe. I just want it to be as clear as possible. So it's always a good idea when you have your website, just have somebody that doesn't know you or is not familiar with your stuff to have a look at it and see if they can find their way around, because they're not in your head and you'd be surprised of the things that maybe you're not even thinking about. So every good website has the most important information in the upper left-hand corner. You have your graphics and a call to action. What do you want people to do when they go to your website? There's a lot of things that people could do on my website. I decided I want them to look at my art and explore my gallery. This button used to go to my shop, but now I have it going to the portfolio that is a little bit more high end for the grants and fellowships. So you just have to decide. Oops, and I didn't mean to click on it. Anyway, I'm not going to go through my whole website. I'm just going to share the landing page. A couple of features that you might want to have on your website. If you have been in an important show, you could put that in here. Or if you've been interviewed by Time Magazine, you could put that in here, as seen in Time Magazine, or as seen in whatever art magazine that has done a feature on you. For me, I work with a lot of UN organizations, and even one of my favorite rock bands, the B-52s, which I know dates me, but that's okay, I love them. So I've just put a selection of some of the clients that I've done design for or training for. Then I reiterate my 3 categories: art and design, professor, publications. I did put some animation projects in here, some featured projects, and then I am a big fan of testimonials. But again, you don't necessarily need that. But if you did commissions for somebody and they're over the moon about what you made for them, or you taught a class for somebody or did a training, you can put that in there. I am also a big fan of putting a way to contact you at the bottom, a call to action, as that's called. And social media follows are sort of standard standard par for course, right? So yeah, so this is sort of like the beginner feng shui. One other thing I'm going to share, and I unfortunately, because of the timing, I want to get a chance to talk about the social media stuff as well. But just to share with you, it is a good idea, if you haven't done so already, to have a blog section of your website. I'm going to go into my blog just to show you, because in my blog pages, I have a sidebar which follows best practices when it comes to the latest research on how people scan web pages. So when people go to a web page, again, they only have about 7 seconds before they're going to run away and do something else. So if your pages are not loading quickly, that's a problem. If people can't figure out who you are, what you do, and why they should care, that could be a problem. One interesting bit of research I came across in the last couple of years is that people tend to look at websites in the letter F formation. So that means they'll start like, okay, D. They'll start with your logo and who you are, what you do, why they should care. They might look at your menu, then they'll go down, and then they might kind of come over here and look at your headline and whatever. And then they're going to just keep scanning down. So you may have noticed that I have a sidebar here and it's on the left. I use WordPress and the default is actually put it on the right. So this is just one of those quick and dirty life hacks that you can use if you have a website and you have a sidebar on any of your pages. I don't have it on all my pages, just my blog pages, but put it on the left instead of the right. Boom, you're going to get more eyeballs on those important things, and you can use this area to get people to do stuff. So obviously you want people to read your blog post, right? But one of the first things I have on there is this like on Facebook widget. People don't even need to leave my website to follow me on Facebook. And that's in the upper left-hand corner. So that's the first thing that I put. Second thing I put is just a little about me widget. Again, I apologize because I know you all have different web platforms, but they all pretty much have this functionality. And if you need help with yours, you can also contact me after this talk. I'd be happy to, point you in the right direction if you need help. But having an about you, like just a little blurb and a link to your about page is also really good. I have my newsletter sign up form here so people can join my mailing list without leaving my website. I also have this thing where I build my mailing list by offering a free art print. I do like a little bit of like a monthly raffle. And so I put that in my text to kind of entice people like, what? Win a free art print? Click, I hope. At least that's the idea. So if people are interested, they'll click and then they'll see when they go to sign up, oh, I'm signing up for a weekly newsletter, and it enters me in a monthly art print drawing. I also have my top posts. Yeah, I'm trying to get people when they go to my website to go to other parts of my website. It's kind of like, hey, I know you're a guppy with an attention span of only 7 seconds, but wait, don't you want to, look at these other interesting posts, or don't you want to join my mailing list, or don't you want to like me on Facebook? So I'm just putting those things there. And then finally, I have my Mastrius group over here. And I also have an online course on Udemy, which is not live. It's self-contained. You could take it at 2 o'clock in the morning in your pajamas and bunny slippers if you wanted to. But anyway, so that's there. So I have a plugin on my WordPress website called, what is it called? Smart sidebars. And the sidebar, it just allows me to put different sidebars depending on what the topic is in my blog post. So this is like my default one, but I have some for like travel, some for crowdfunding, some for fine art, some for design. Anyway, that's way more than you need to know, but just to let you know that sometimes you want to think about where you're going to put things. All right, I better be quiet for a minute.
Okay, I'm just going to say that just even moving that sidebar to the left, because you're right, my eyes automatically did the F thing, and I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, so you can use that to your advantage and just put whatever you want people to do. I mean, obviously, in a perfect world, nobody would be distracted. Everybody would want to read my entire blog article. But when you're in a waiting room looking at a magazine, and they're about to call your name, are you going to read every single article from front to back, or are you going to kind of like skim through the magazine? That's kind of what we do online. So you want to make it easy for people to see like, oh, who is this? Oh, that's an artist website. Oh, wow, look, there's some of their work. And then they skim. And even that's why when you have blog posts, even, you could put just one big glob of text, but it's much better to have, a heading and little subheads and kind of break it up with some imagery. I was doing some murals for the World Food Program UN Primary Care Clinic in Lilongwe last week with some of my former students. So I just made a blog post about it. And actually, here's a life hack for you. One reason that people don't make, and then my sons were actually volunteering at a feeding center, so I popped that in as well, because those are things that were happening. But where did I get the idea for my blog post? It was from my newsletter. I just copied what I sent my mailing list weekly and made a blog post out of it. Where did I get the idea for my newsletter? From my top performing social media posts that week. When I posted about the murals, I got a lot of likes and engagement. So I said, oh, why don't I turn that into my newsletter? So one thing that I used to do that I don't do anymore is I used to really overthink, like, what am I going to post? What am I going to blog about? What am I going to write my mailing list? It's it's stressful. But if you can just pick, like, okay, this was a very popular Facebook post. So why don't I just grab that text and I'll turn that into a newsletter. And then when that newsletter goes out the next day, I'll just copy and paste and I'll make a blog post out of it. I'm just trying to not reinvent the wheel, not try to tell everybody everything in my life, but just focus on one thing. So that's another thing just to think about for simplifying your life, is as you're sharing your online life with the world, you don't need to share everything, like what you ate for lunch and what you thought about painting but didn't, and what you actually painted and what you want to paint but didn't. It's too much.
That's too much. He works smarter. I like that. Yes, that's a brilliant tip.
Thank you. So all right, I better go back to my PowerPoint for a minute. What was I talking about here? Okay, sorry, one moment. Okay, so anyway, we talked about all of that very quickly, again, because of time. Just a couple things to look at on your website. And this is one of those things in Malawi. I work with artists, but I also work with non-artists, people that work for UN organizations, NGOs, businesses, mechanics, whatever. It doesn't matter. We all have the same problem. We all want to engage with the people that follow us and provide value to those people and make their lives better, hopefully. So one thing that, and again, this is low-hanging fruit, and I apologize if Captain Obvious is teaching or doing the talk right now, but you want to just make sure that all your contact information is correct and current on your website, on your Facebook page, business page, if you have one, your Instagram profile, anywhere that you are. You'd be surprised how many times it's, you've got an old address on there. You've got like an old, for our businesses, they have old, outdated opening times, stuff like that. So just make sure that it's current. Does it all match each other? Facebook recently, like a couple of months ago, they changed their character limit for the about information. And so, and without telling anybody. And then one day I looked and it looked like I was just like stupid. I had written like Kristen Palana is a book, and then it stopped because the character content cut off because they changed something. So I was like, oh, so then I noticed it and I fixed it. So even if you're doing everything right, you have to be careful, especially with the social platforms, that they didn't change something on you and it doesn't look like you know how to write or how to write a complete sentence. So just something to have a look at. Oops, hang on. Okay. Very important. Can the public contact you easily by phone if you have that? I don't actually like that. I don't like people to call me on the phone, but I do have my email, Facebook messages, all of that good stuff. We all make mistakes, like even with the Facebook changing their character account. It wasn't my fault, but whatever. It's okay. Just fix it. If you find that there's a mistake, just fix it. No problem. No biggie. It happens to everybody. Your clients or followers or fans will trust you more if you content. See, look, I have a mistake. I should fix it ASAP. If you content is reliable and up to date, and if you are very responsive to questions and concerns. This is something I talk about a lot in Malawi with like Malawian business owners. If I want to know, like, hey, is your restaurant open tomorrow on the public holiday? And they get back to me within an hour, that's awesome. I'm probably going to go there and spend my money. But if they don't get back to me for a week and the holiday is long gone, then they're not, it's like nobody's home. So again, just being responsive, just showing up is already, you're doing better than 90% of people out there. All right, so let's see. So we did all of that. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to Instagram. Do any of you prefer Instagram over Facebook or vice versa?
Instagram.
Instagram.
Right.
Instagram for me.
Instagram.
Oh, all these Instagrammers. It's growing on me. I have to admit, I'm just much more of a Facebook person, but I want to share a couple of things that you can do to optimize your Instagram profile. So I'm glad I started with Instagram because you're Instagrammers. Okay, so can you see my screen still?
Yes.
And you can see my Instagram profile, yes?
Yes, we can.
All right. So a couple of things that you can do today that hopefully won't take over your life is number one. By the way, where am I getting this best practices from? So like I said, I have all the experience, teaching web design and websites to artists and non-artists since like 2000, which is sadly like 23 years ago now. But also more recently, I've been following Mastrius, and I give you a list of some of my resources, but there's Praxis Center for the Arts, there's the Visual Arts Association, there's Art Storefronts, who has a whole vault of art marketing business best practices. So that's where I'm actually getting this from, is Art Storefronts. And they're the ones that I do my shop with, my e-commerce website, which actually I didn't show you, sorry. But anyway, that's okay. You don't need to see it to know that it exists. But so they have a team of marketers who work exclusively with artists and art businesses. And they found that these things that you do to your Instagram profile are the things that will get you the most engagement, likes, clicks, follows, sales, etc. So number one, they recommend for your profile image, as tempting as it is to just put one of your artworks in there, you should, if you can manage, put your face in there. I know that's really hard. I don't even like to do it. There is one exception to that, and that is if you have a self-portrait that's fairly realistic, like you're not just a smear of yellow or smear of orange, it's actually like a face that kind of looks like you, then you could also do that as well. So they recommend a face, you, because it looks more friendly. And what you're trying to do when people go to your Instagram profile is you want it to be really clear, like A, this is an artist's Instagram profile. B, they post a lot of interesting, useful things. They're fun to follow, and a lot of artists actually bristle at these little emojis in the bio, but that's another best practice thing to do on Instagram and Facebook is using you don't want to go crazy. You don't need like every heart in every color and every Care Bear. I'm sorry, that's dating myself again. But you don't need every emoji that exists, but just a couple, because it actually functions kind of like the headlines or bullet points in a magazine. They get people to kind of like, oh, stop and look. It's almost like they function as like bullets without being bullets. So in your bio, which is very limited in terms of how many characters you have, you want to put what kind of artist you are. So if you're an abstract artist or you focus on Pennsylvania Dutch country, or trees, or you speak to trees through your art, whatever it is, you put it in there. I have trouble because I do so many things, so I just put mixed media artist. If you can somehow put something big that happened, I was interviewed by Time Magazine, or I won a Guggenheim Fellowship. Wow, wouldn't that be amazing? Or whatever it is, any awards you can put in here. But if you've got too many things, you can also just put life hack, award-winning mixed media artist. What kind of awards? Well, you'll have to find out. But try to be strategic about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also put that I'm a professor, but not just any old professor, but one that has taught on 4 continents. UN design consultant, and I made sure to put, oops, can you guys still hear me?
We can, but you're cutting in and out a little bit, but not bad.
Sorry, it's Malawian internet. Okay, I'll just keep going, but hopefully we'll be okay. But anyway, you should put where you are, because that can also help people decide if they want to follow you or not, or just know where you're located. If you can put the kind of art that you do, that would be great. A call to action. It doesn't have to be shop art and gifts. It could be explore a gallery. It could be, learn more, contact me, follow my Instagram, whatever it is. So you want to have a call to action, and then a link to your website. Now here is where people will argue, oh, no, you should have a link tree. Does anyone have a link tree or know what a link tree is?
Yes. I thought that was awesome because I have so many links.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have one too, but that's not the thing to
I
do.
used,
You do
I
too?
used to have a link, but then I made a page on my website that is a link tree, like that it has all the links on it, so that they would just automatically be at my website.
Yeah,
I did a little, when I was about to make a link tree, I ended up reading an article first that said, if you make a link tree page, what happens is you are driving people from Instagram to Linktree, which its own website. But if you make a very obvious bar on your website that gives you all of the same links, then you're actually driving people to your website, which was better.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or do you think that's true?
So that's exactly what I was going to say. I love especially as a mixed media, multidisciplinary, blah, blah, blah. I've got a million links to a million different things. And I love the idea of a link tree. But I also read a similar article, and it's actually, I guess, slightly better practice. Try to pick, like, if your link tree was on fire and you could save only one branch, which link would you choose? And put that in there. And then you could do that, which is, like, I know when people go to my website, they're going to find all my other stuff because of the menu and the other stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. I'm just keeping an eye on the time, so I don't want to be too, so many things I could tell you. I'm going to try not to overwhelm you, but very quickly, I do
just
recommend
add one thing. We can
Sure.
now put 5 links there. Just so you know.
Oh, okay. Yes,
In
they keep
Instagram.
changing that. Yes, they've made that capability. I think that's good. I would still maybe only choose one, or if you have to do more than one, maybe no more than 3. But again, it's just because because people are bombarded with so much online. It's better to just keep it as simple as possible. But
Yeah,
again, it's
it
personal.
just shows the one though. It just says
Oh, I see.
www.art.com and 4 others, and then you click on that, and then it shows all. It's still
Okay.
simple.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, perfect. As long as we keep it simple, then it's good. Just a couple other things to think about with your Instagram profile. You have story highlights. These again are from Art Storefront's recommendations. They recommend that you have one that's an about me, one that's best sellers if you sell art prints or gifts or anything like that, or even originals, or even just having a category for originals. You could put other categories from your website. I've chosen, I just, I have one for commissions, new work, courses, and a contact. You can constantly be updating these, but these come from your stories and you can create a highlight. You see, there's like a place to add a new highlight. You can't add a highlight unless it's already a story. So if you're looking for how to do that, you want to make sure you've added it as a story first, and then you can from here, make a highlight, which will then go over here. You can add a pretty cover image very quickly. I'll just share with you. These are new. I've been procrastinating. I've been meaning to do this, and I finally did it over the weekend so that I could seem like I've had this for a long time, but really I haven't. So these are just images that I made in Canva. They, again, I'm focusing on background story, like why did I become an artist, degrees if you want to, awards. You want to have about 5 to 7 of these. You could have 9. I wanted to put in my UN consultant stuff in there. And then the final one should, in your stories, you have the ability to add a link. It's about to jump to the next thing. But anyway, just to, you want to entice people to go to your website. So then another highlight that I have are just bestsellers. And here I'm using room mockups. You can find those for free in Canva. And I use Canva, not to be confused with Canva. But there's other ones as well. And I just grabbed, just basically made these and popped them in here. And yeah, you can put a link. So I'm not going to go through, oops, how do I get out of here? Okay, hold on a minute. Sorry, I have my window. Okay, I'm getting out of highlights here. Anyway, so think about doing that for your highlights. That's not one of the easy, quick things to do. You do need to probably think about it a little bit. But quick and easy things you can do is maybe when people go to your profile, they want to see, is this someone that we want to follow? So you might want to just consider pinning a few of your most popular reels or posts so that people can see oh, this is the kind of work that they do. And preferably if you have, this is a reel, I'll just play it for you. It's embarrassing to be in here, but it's okay. There's music that goes with this, which I'm not going to play, but it's just showing, some recent artwork. Again, that was a story and a reel, so I just pinned it there. But it is good to have, a couple of images where you're actually showing your face. And this other one that I pinned is just getting people to sign up for my newsletter. So again, this is just like a sample of my artwork. Enter and win a free art print. How do I do that? Oh, I've got to subscribe to her newsletter. So just a couple of ideas for you. Very quickly, for getting followers to Instagram, I recommend maybe, I don't know, if you have time every day or every couple of days, do a search for the kinds of hashtags that you're interested in. So if you're an abstract artist, or you do a lot of, or whatever niche you're in, if you do, I have a lot of things that would appeal to people that are doing energy healing or Reiki or wellness or meditation. So those are some of the hashtags that I search up. When I search those up, I see the people that follow those hashtags, and then I might decide to follow them and see if they'll follow me back. It's a good way to kind of get the juices flowing, to get people to follow your page, because I do recommend you want to organically grow your pages. You don't want to pay for a service or anything like that. But
That's
as much
brilliant. That's brilliant, Kristen. So you just go into the little magnifying glass and just search for categories and then look for people to follow. Oh, that's really great low-hanging fruit. I'm going to be doing that.
It is low-hanging fruit, yes. I can't believe how quickly the time is going by. I apologize. I'm just, one last thing I'm going to show you. I'm going to leave Instagram for a moment just to go to Facebook. Facebook, so this is my Facebook page. If you can, not everybody feels comfortable doing design, but if you have a friend, or I have an 11-year-old son who's really good with Canva, and he helps me sometimes with my videos. So if you got free labor, free child labor, like I do, I actually made this, but just having a cover that gives people a general idea of like who you are, what you do. Again, putting your face in there, even if you're shy, is always good. Your intro, you have edit bio here, you have even less characters than in Instagram. So you want to try to put like, what kind of artist are you? What kind of art do you make? And then a call to action. Okay, I've got some low-hanging fruit for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
When you are in your Facebook page, so you can do this also if you have a personal profile, but if you don't have a business page, I do recommend that you get one, because then you can just make it all about your art. Whereas my personal profile, it's like, hey, my son's first day of school today, and look, this is my tuna sandwich. Like, you don't really want to have that on your business page or your professional artist profile. But okay, low-hanging fruit, check this out. When you post something, look, this is today, this is this event right now. I just posted about it here. Let me see if I can find one with just like a lot of likes. One moment. Hold on. Okay, here's one with 28. Now, I already took my own advice, so it's not going to be too exciting. But when I click on the people who liked this post, you'll see, if you're not me, I already did this, but you'll see there'll be a button to invite people to like your page. So if they clicked on your post and liked it, you can click to invite them, and they'll get a little message that says, hey, you recently liked a post from Valerie Allen's Art Ladders Facebook page. Do you want to follow it? And they'll say, of course I do. And that's boom, you got new followers.
That
on
is
your
awesome. I had no
Right?
idea that was even in there. That is awesome.
That is
Yeah,
really awesome. I like that.
So you see, like, I've either invited the people already or they're already following me. And there's a whole list here. And if anybody else were to like this, that I had invited, then it would show up in here. So apologies, I was too zealous with my own advice. So I don't get to click the nice button. Yeah, and I think even with like this newer post, let's see. Yeah, I think I already invited everyone. Anyway, so just low-hanging fruit for increasing your followers. There's another low-hanging fruit in here as well. And that's
Sorry, so
this.
that invitation will say, do you want to like that page?
Yeah, it'll say you recently liked their post. Do you want to like their page? That's it.
Okay, awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's not obnoxious. There's also this little ... right here when you're in your business Facebook page, and look what it says here: invite friends. Now, I have 3.5K followers, which is built up over time. It was never my goal to get a lot of people, and I know that with millions of followers.
I don't know how she can. So I go back.
That's
Oh.
okay.
Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to say that every new page, you should lean on a little help from your friends. Click on invite friends, and then it'll take you to your profile, which I'm not going to do right now. And then it'll give you a opportunity to check off all the people that you want to invite to like your page. If they're really your friends, I'm just kidding. If they're your mom or your favorite cousin or your best friend, I'm pretty sure they're going to like your page. And that's how you get the ball rolling. You do that with crowdfunding as well. When you're like trying to raise money for a cause, you got to, get some support on day one. Who do you turn to? Your friends, your family, and yourself. So there's no shame in inviting your friends to like your business page. So anyway, those are just a couple of things. What am I forgetting?
Oh,
Okay.
one thing I just want to mention before we run out of time is that, Kristen, you have a mentorship starting up on September 7th, correct? The first Thursday of every month at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And did you want to speak to that just a little bit about what you would be sharing or in your mentorship?
Yes, I'm gonna just very quickly, oops, hold on a minute. If I can go back to, hang on. Yes, so I have a mentorship, which is starting. I actually had another group which started in January. We ran for 5 months and then we took a little break. So I have a new one that's starting, and it's got like a slightly more international time zone. Oh, I just wanted to to leave you with some resources. So I'm just going to leave it on this slide here. So yeah, I have a mentorship, and I'm all about hopefully making your life easier, whether that's how to start your art practice and devote enough time to it, focusing on doing the right things, not letting social media take over your life, not letting art marketing take over your life, how to apply to shows, grants, and fellowships, how to grow in different areas, even if you've made a career change, or if you're like me, I'm not living in an art capital of the world. I love Malawi. It's got many wonderful qualities, but being a world art capital, sadly, is not one of them. So yeah, just being able to make the most out of you and your art practice and your art and your in-person and online exhibition opportunities, wherever you might be. Those are some of the things that I go over, but I also love to help with your website, with your planning for and setting goals, getting grants and fellowships, and just boosting you online. And it could even just be the art business aspect of things. I apologize that I got so excited about my own topic that I wanted to leave more time for questions. I'm going to be quiet now if there are any that I can help you with.
There are a couple of questions here. One is from Karen saying, how valuable is it just to have followers who aren't buyers by following a bunch of people?
Great question. On one hand, it's valuable in the sense that when you go to any business or fan page, if there's only 2 people that like it, it doesn't have a lot of credibility or social proof. So on one hand, having some numbers, Art Storefronts recommends getting at least 1,000 followers if you can for your Instagram and your Facebook, because it's sort of like the first milestone that says, hey, this is more than just a personal account. This is somebody who's a business or has fans. And one sort of like life hack way to get there is the things I was telling you, which is following others who like what you do. So if you paint donkeys, then follow a donkey sanctuary and let them know, like, hey, you're doing donkey artwork, for example, whatever it is. Really interacting with groups on Facebook and Instagram where people like donkeys, for lack of a better example. But at the same time, you don't want a bunch of bots that don't engage with you either. You don't want to pay some service to put a bunch of fake accounts. That's going to ruin your profile. So it's always better, in my opinion, to have 100 really awesome engaged fans and followers than 1 million bots where nobody cares a thing about what you do and there's no engagement. So hopefully that answers your question somewhat.
Anyone else with anything they would like to know or comment on?
Could you tell us a little bit more about the Abundant Artist and the other resources that you have on the slide?
Sure. Mastrius is my #1, of course. The Abundant Artist and Art Business Vault by Art Storefronts are free resources with lots of articles and what they call, especially at Art Storefronts, they call them playbooks. So if you want to go to Art Business Vault and look up, like, how do I optimize my Instagram profile? They have an Instagram glow up playbook PDF that you can look at for free. Same for Facebook. And rumor has it, they just made one for LinkedIn. So I'm going to check that out. But the Abundant Artist also has lots of articles. They also compare different web platforms where you might have an artist website, the pros and cons of those. I also like Praxis, Center for Aesthetic Studies. They have a YouTube channel with lots of really great like studio visits and how to get in a biennale and how to write a grant application, stuff like that. Visual Artists Association is similar to that. They're like the UK counterpart, and I like them a lot because they have lectures and things. And I'm a big fan of John Lechner, who is on Facebook, and he's got a Facebook page called Lead Gen for Artists. This is his little food pyramid. I call it a food pyramid, but it's a little bit backwards. So basically he's saying, I'm going to say this really quickly because it's so important. #1 thing you should do every day when you're running your art business or you're an artist is if you get an email from someone who wants to have a show with you or buy something, your number one priority is replying to emails from people that contact you. Your number two priority for the week is sending a weekly email to your mailing list. If you don't have a mailing list, that's okay, but you should think about maybe getting one. Number three, a daily Facebook post. Number four, again, if you don't have time to do these other things, it doesn't matter. As long as you do, reply to your emails, consider writing your weekly newsletter to your subscribers, because you're building relationships with people and they're going to come back to you again and again, eventually buying artwork, maybe a month from now, maybe a year from now. Scheduling a daily Facebook post, a daily Instagram post. He's a big fan of Facebook over Instagram. I tend to agree. I get 3 times as many sales from Facebook as Instagram. Replying to social comments from fans. A lot of artists get bogged down with, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And their whole day is just replying when maybe they didn't do the other things. And then finally, doing other shiny marketing stuff. So he means like, oh, NFTs sound like a cool thing. Or I heard about a Discord server, or AI is now, whatever. That should be the last priority. You can do that, but make sure you've done all the other important stuff first. And if you do a shiny new markety thing, just pick one thing, don't pick 10 things, and just explore it. It's fun. Play with it and have a good time. I hope that answers your question a little bit.
We are out of time. I just want to remind everybody that this recording is going to go up on the YouTube channel so you can watch it again. There was so much information in here. If you're like me, I don't even know if I can read all my scribbled notes. And
I gotta stop sharing my screen. Sorry, go ahead.
And if you are interested in learning more about Kristen or working with her, she has a page on the Mastrius site. So that you can find out more information about her and her upcoming sessions that are going to start on September 7th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Any last questions or comments from anybody? Except that we all loved it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Exams we took away. Thank you.
This
That was great.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much for coming. I really
Yes,
appreciate
thank
it.
you all for being here.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have you're most welcome to contact me outside of this. Hopefully you'll see like my profile, or you just search me up and drop me a line. I'll be happy to answer your questions away from this realm as
Okay.
well.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
Kristen.
And thank you for hosting us. You were
Yes,
awesome.
Thanks, Lynn.
welcome. It was wonderful.